Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Charlene Madrid, and I'm here on the design team with Picket Studios. I've been here about 3 years now, and I go live on most Tuesdays at 12 o'clock Central. Good morning, Arlette. I see we have some of our friends popping in here. We're going to be doing a super cute and fun card today with a new collection that just came out. So I'm excited about that. And let's see, are there any other housekeeping things? Oh, I'm going to show you today how to color, or how I color flowers and leaves. So I'm going to give you my tips and tricks for that with a beautiful set. Let me show you. I'll pop you down here to my desk. Good morning, Heather. So we have this beautiful set that was illustrated by Kelly Taylor. It's called Graceful Magnolias, and you can see we have this lovely large stamped image here, as well as 2 different leaves and 2 individual flowers. And then of course the coordinating dies are available. So we're going to be working with this today. And then we're going to be working as well with this really, really fun collection. Good morning. This is the notebook collection that just came out, which is so fun. So we have here a die. It's called the A2 Ripped Notebook Cover Plate die. So it's 5.5 inches. But of course, if you want to put it on an A2 size card, you can cut down that die, which is what we're going to do today. But it has this fun torn edge detail on there. And then we will also be using the A2 marble notebook covers. So do you remember the composition notebooks from school? That is kind of what this collection is themed around. Good morning, Bonnie. And my kids still have to have them at school. So they're definitely still a thing. And there's a couple of other things that go along with this collection as well that I'm not going to be using today, but I wanted to show you. This is the A2 notebook grid, and it has this grid stamp as well as just some fun other stamps that you can use. This is especially will look really cute if you were doing more of like an art journal or mixed media card. So there's this as part of the collection. There's an A2 torn notebook page, which this is one large stamp, which is fun because you could do ombre stamping, you could do stamp kissing, you could do all kinds of cool techniques with that. And then last but not least, the new Glossy A2 card fronts, which are called Memo Pad Brights. So this is similar to that marble notebook cover, but these make for a very quick card background, right? If you want to make a composition notebook style card, you could use one of these. Super fun. So let me set these aside. And we're going to dive right in to creating our notebook front. So let me grab my stamping platform. I hope everyone had a nice weekend. I had a really busy weekend. I taught a class for Hero Arts, and then I also went up to Bellingham for the weekend to see my oldest son who's in college. You guys know he started there this fall, and they had like a fall family weekend. So we went up and did that. And that was really fun. If you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen my story. On Sunday morning, we went to a cat cafe, which was really cool. My husband's allergic to cats, so we've never had a cat. Well, we did at one point, but that did not work out too well. But we had a kitty a long time ago. We couldn't have a cat after that. And, but I love kitties. I love doggies and kitties. So, and my kids don't have any issues with them. And so I surprised them by going to a cat cafe. My husband had to go do something on his own. But we went to the cat cafe and we hung out and played and pet the kitties. And my kids absolutely loved it. So excuse my head if it's in the way. I just want to make sure we get all the coverage on here. So they loved it. We had lots of fun. Hi, Paya. The kitties were so sweet. But we did that Sunday morning. We stayed at a really, really pretty hotel, Hotel Bellwether. If you're ever in Bellingham, it's very pretty, right on the water, which was so nice. Even though it was raining, we still had a really pretty view. So this covers the whole front of an A2 size card. You can use any color to stamp this. You could stamp it in black if you want like the traditional style of composition notebook. You could do like multiple colors, fun stuff like that. I'm going with Puffy Heart, which is this nice pink color. And when you're working with a large stamp like this and you're trying to get your ink on everywhere and you have a felt pad, I recommend doing kind of like a little stamp and twist motion so you can make sure that ink is getting smushed out. Oh, I got a big air bubble there. I can see it. Try and push it out maybe. That might impact our stamping, but we'll see. So just stamp and twist, and I like to kind of then, once I've got a good amount of ink on here, then I will tap. I'll flip this over and press this down. So we did that. We went on Sunday to eat lunch at one of the dining halls, and of course, hi Linda, my kids thought, my two younger boys thought that was, yeah, see I've got an air bubble under there. We're gonna lift this up here and let it roll back down to try and get rid of that air bubble. And we'll restamp. They thought that the dining hall was the coolest thing they had ever been to. Because it's all like college kid food, right? It wasn't bad. It was actually, I thought, pretty good for a dining hall. But of course, they had pizza and they had ice cream and all of those favorites of the younger crowd. And so they were in heaven about that. And went around the campus. It's beautiful. I was the only one who had a chance before that to see the campus, because when I took my son up there when we were looking at schools, I just took him up there because my husband was traveling. And my other two kiddos were like, no. All right, look, see, it's starting to come together. Isn't that cool? I'm going to do one more stamping. And this is definitely personal preference, how dark you want to take this. I want to make sure that it's very nice and colored. And with all big stamps like this, over time, they get more and more conditioned and take the ink better. So keep that in mind as well. Okay, stamp this one more time. And this will dry back to that really pretty light pink. Well, not light pink, but I guess a lighter pink. Good morning, Victoria. So we did that. What else did we do? I can't remember now. The first night we just went out to dinner. We went up on Saturday, like afternoon. Then we left on Sunday afternoon. So we were just up there for the one night. It's not too far from where I live. Isn't that cool? It's about, what is it? It's about an hour and 15 minutes or so from home. So far enough away that he can't just come home all the time, but close enough that it's not too bad of a drive. Ooh, that was extra squeaky. What'd everybody else do this weekend? Hi, Pat. You guys have any fun plans that you went off and did? There we go. And we'll set this aside somewhere that I don't get myself all inky. We're going to use this again in a minute, but first, we've got our cover. That's going to look so cool. And now we're going to create our ripped notebook paper. So let me set this over here and grab my die cutting machine. We'll get some die cutting done. Look how flat my magic mat is now, guys. I heated it with my heat tool to help flatten it back down again. Because after time, in my machine anyway, it starts like bowing. So that worked great. So like I said, this goes, you can see here, this is the width of an A2 card panel on the horizontal. So it goes all the way across. We're not going to use this whole piece of paper, or the whole die cut. So we're going to end up trimming some off, but this is the side. Well, I don't know. We're going to put it in like this so that we have one side that's for sure nice and straight. Something like that. So we'll run this through. Hi, Yvette. Ooh. I just smacked myself with my own die cutter. Jessica, you went to Croptoberfest? Ooh, that sounds fun, whatever it is. Where is that at? Do tell. I gotta put that on my list of potential things to go check out. Let's see. Pat, you took the grandkids to a fun farm. Oh, fun. Love it. Paya, you had a nice fall weekend in the woods. Yes, the colors are beautiful right now. I just made a card the other day. I think a video went up on my channel today with some really pretty fall colors. We're already starting to lose most of the leaves. There's still a couple trees with some colors hanging on, but most of them are now, our fall is kind of coming to a close, at least with respect to the leaves. Oh, and you made some Christmas cards. Wonderful. Oh, it's a scrapbooking crop, Jessica. You know, I haven't done any scrapbooking. I have thought about it, especially because there is a gal that I watch, Lori Cook Craft, I think is her channel, and she is lovely, and she does a lot of scrapbooking, and so I watch a lot of scrapbooking. I just I haven't done any yet. You might hear my son downstairs. He's homesick from school, but surprisingly, he's pretty noisy for a sick kiddo. He's down there singing. I don't know how possibly sick he could be if he's singing, but you know, what do you do? Okay, So you can see this could go across like this, but we're gonna do it portrait orientation, and I'm just trying to decide where I want it to be. I think I'm gonna have it here because I like how this swoops down and over, and I want to keep that. And I'm gonna stamp this sentiment from the set that says Sending Love, and it's like perfectly sized to fit on the lines. So we're gonna do that. So we, she does a December daily, which I think if I ever do scrapbook, that's gonna be kind of like what I do, because I need to have like a project that has an end, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know that I could ever do scrapbooking and just do like layouts and layouts and layouts. But if I did like a December daily or some kind of like little art journal, scrapbook type of thing, I could get on board with it. Someday. Maybe next fall. I'll start on one. The red trees are so gorgeous. I agree, Pat. They are my favorite. I like when they turn like that bright, almost like reddish fuchsia color. Gorgeous. All right, I've got some black hybrid ink here, and I'm gonna stamp this, hopefully, right on that line. Let's see how we did. Oh, yay, that worked out perfectly. Let's do another stamping. We do a lot of stuff in December. We do a lot of things during the holidays. So I think I'd have enough content to put together a December daily. That looks good. So we're done with, let me close this up, move this out of the way, get this off of here, set it aside with our cute little notebook cover. So cute. Take this stamp off, just stick it there for now. And I'm going to stamp, to show you how I color florals and leaves, I'm just going to stamp one flower and a leaf. I've already pre-colored this whole piece here, but that would take quite a while to do on camera. So I'm just going to show you how I color this. And we're going to get some smooth cardstock. I've got Spectrum Noir Ultra Smooth Premium White cardstock. Smooth cardstock tends to work better with alcohol marker coloring. So we'll put this on. Actually, I'm going to put this like this. I think. Yeah. So I'll get these stamped. Hi, Rhonda. Glad you could make it. You know, I've just been blabbing on about random things. As per usual. Pat used scrapbook for years and started doing cards about 2 years ago. It's hard to sometimes come up with themes of scrapbooking. Yeah, I could see that for sure too. Especially if like, what I think I'd run into an issue with is I would, you know, take, let's like pictures at the pool or something, and then not have the right elements in my collection, you know, to put together a pool layout or something. Or the other thing I could see happening is I would need every single collection, and then I would be overrun by ephemera. I think I'd probably try and mainly do stamping and mixed media for my layouts. I think that'd be fun. I can imagine it. I can imagine it now. Charlene, scrapbooker extraordinaire. looks good. Let's take this off of here. Put this away. Oh, I don't want to put it away yet. I'm going to have to clean that stamp. Just kidding. All right, so I wrote out, so if you ever want to come back and like screenshot this or something, I wrote out all the colors I use. Now, don't freak out. It sounds like a lot of colors, but some of these things are being used like more than once. So it's okay. Take a breath. It'll be okay. We're gonna start with coloring our petals. And we're gonna use, Magnolias tend to be either like towards the white side or towards the pink side. And I'm going with pink, pink, pink. And it's probably more pink than what most Magnolias you find in nature, but that's because I don't know, I thought it'd be fun. Hold on, coffee break. Plus, one of my favorite colors is this RV 1.3 and 1.5. I love them. Okay, so we're going to start with our darkest. And what we're going to do is we're going to work our way from red violets into violets. So violet in the numbers I'm using is really a very light purple. And this is more of a bright pink. So let me zoom you in. And maybe I'll turn up my brightness a little bit so you can see a little better. How's that? I think that's good. So we'll start with the RV 1.5. And if you're new and you're lurking, at the end of this, I'm going to give away the card I make. So definitely leave a comment introducing yourself, letting us know where you're from. And then you will be included in that chance to get this lovely card sent off to you in the mail. Well, at least what I hope to be lovely. So with the darkest, when I'm working with flowers, there's a lot of flicking. So remember, we've talked about like, you can flick, you can also run along the line of another color to help blend into that color. And then sometimes you do like small circles if you're trying to fill a space. So there's lots of different ways you can do it. Yvette, you're lurking, going to the grocery store. Lurk away, my friend. And so what I like to do is my darkest color, I come from the base of the petal and bring it out just slightly with a flicking motion. Now, I also know that the underside top portion of my petals is also going to be this dark color. So while I have it out, I'm going to go ahead and color this as well. And I need to put my magnifiers on. So much easier with these to color. Boop. Now we have cool Charlene. Next, I'm going to bring the RV 1.3. And for this, I'm going to, it's kind of like when we were doing hair. If you saw when the episode where I was talking about coloring hair, it's similar in that now we're going to do flicks like in between these and extend out farther. Okay. Then we are going to bring in our V 4.1. We have a couple of different V's. We've got 1.1 and 4.1 and 4.3. So this is like the lightest, this is the medium, and this is the dark. So we're going to go with the medium light purple. And what we're going to do is from the other edge, I'm going to flick in a little bit of that 4.1. And then our lightest color, very similar to when we did hair. I'm going to bring that lightest color, which is the V1.1, right through the center of that petal. So I had it turned upside down. That might not have been helpful because it was turned upside down. Last but not least, we're going to take our darkest violet, which is the 4.3, and all we are using the 4.3 for is this is for shading, okay? So this is what we're going to use last, and we're going to use this to shade some different areas of the petals, like where they overlap and things like that. So I'm actually going to leave that, not do anything right now, because I want to do that for the last step. Hi, Sue. So let's go back to our darkest, which is the 1.5. And since I already know I'm going to do these undersides of all the petals with that 1.5, I'm going to go ahead and color them all at once. So we'll bring it along the edge here. And I like to do the undersides of my petals in darker colors. I feel like it just adds a fun little detail element, but certainly what colors you use will depend on the type of flower, as well as what kind of look you're going for, because you might want the inside of your petals to be very dark and the underside of your petals to be very light. You'll find all kinds of different variations in nature when it comes to flowers. I think that's part of why they are such a popular stamp, is because like you can never run out of possibilities, I feel like, when it comes to florals. There's so many different looks and things you could do with them. All right, I've got all the edges of the petals now with the dark. So now I'm going to bring my dark in, and I'm going to do that flicking motion from the base of the petal. Not very much. Remember, this is just a little bit. And I'm going to do it, which way is this petal? Sometimes when you're looking at a petal, you can decide yourself which direction it's facing. I think we're looking at the back of these two petals. So I am going to bring the dark up from the base, but I'm also going to bring that dark from the tip on these ones. Because remember, and on the edge, remember I've chosen to make the backs of my petals that color. So since this is a back of a petal as well, I want it to be uniform. So I'm going to bring my dark like so around the edges and flick from the top and the bottom. Next, we will move on to our 1.3. Now I know, oh, just kidding, I haven't finished. I'm getting ahead of myself. We're gonna do some flicking from this base of this petal, and since that kind of takes up that whole area, I'm just gonna fill it in. And from this, I'm gonna kind of do a little bit of flicking, but not much, because this would actually be farther up on the petal as with this. So we'll just do a little bit. And for this petal and this petal, well, this petal for sure, most of the dark at the base would be covered by the petal in front of it, so I'm not going to do any on that. But for this one, I'll do a little bit. There. I wouldn't try to color any more than this at one time, because your alcohol markers are going to dry on your paper, and that's going to make it so that they're harder to blend. So I wouldn't go any like farther than this. If you're coloring a big image, work in sections And that will also depend on the type of paper you're using. So now I'm going to come in with the 1.3. Just going to double check that. And now I'm going to extend out those flicks in all those areas where we had the dark. And here I will bring in those flicks. Back here we'll have some. And you can bring them up as far as you want or as much as you want. It's your flower. You can do it however you want. I'll bring them up past this a little bit. And I missed this petal down here, so I'm going to bring in the dark a little bit along this edge, and then the light flicking up. I tried to follow the curvature of the petal, at least to the best of my ability. I'm not always successful at it, but I try. All right, next we're gonna bring back in that middle of the violets, which was the 4.1, yeah. And we'll bring it from the tip of each petal coming down. And I'm kind of finding what I think would be the center of the tip of the petal and working towards a straight line and then curving on the other part of the petal. So that helps to shape your petal if you're following that curve. So there is that. Now we'll bring back in the 1.1, and just like when we did the hair right before, we're gonna bring this back and forth between those two colors and help to kind of blend everything out, give it some visual interest. If there's any remaining white spaces, that's totally fine. So there's those petals, and I missed doing the RV 1.3, the lighter of the pinks, on our exterior petals. So let's do that. Okay, and then we'll bring in that 1.1. I'm gonna skip the 4.1 on the exterior petals. And then I flicked back and forth. So you can see these back petals kind of have a little bit more color going on with them. And in fact, I might add even a little bit more of our 1.3 on these. There we go. Okay, so we colored our petals. Wasn't too bad, right? And you could go over this a second time and really build up that color. I'm going to bring in now that V4.3 I talked about at the beginning that I was like, oh, we're going to put this away and use it later. So this is what we're going to use to do our shading. And remember, you want to shade along the line of anything that's going to be above something else, okay? So this petal here is covering over this petal. So I'm going to bring this 4.3 right along that edge. And this petal is covering this petal. So we're going to bring our 4.3 right along that edge. This petal covers this petal. Bring it right along that edge. And then this is in front of those other two petals. So I'm going to go all the way around here and all the way around there. Now as this dries, at first it might look kind of crazy, but it is going to dry back a little bit. I'm going to do the same thing for this petal on this side. And it's going to give us that shading that we need in order to make it look a little bit more 3D. Let's see, what did I miss? Did I miss any spots where petals are in front of each other? Yes. So over here, bring this right there because this petal's in front of that one. All right, that covers the petal kind of overlap. The other places you'll want to shade are anywhere, like, because this lifts, curves up, we're gonna bring a shading line right along the edges of these areas where it curves up. A little bit here, a little bit here, a little here. And don't be afraid to turn your paper. I remember when I first started coloring, I wouldn't turn my paper because I thought like you weren't supposed to for some reason. But for me, it makes it so much easier so that I have more control over my coloring. Okay, so look at how much that added in terms of like making it look 3D. I feel like it added a lot, and it will dry back a fair bit in terms of the color. It's gonna lighten as it dries. And so now you could do this a second time, or if you want to, you can go back in and just like add shading as you see fit, or add, where's my V? 4.1, I can't read. Blend out more color if you want to blend out more color. Like I might come in here with my, what are these ones? No, not these. This is the RV 1.3 and the RV 1.5. But I might come back in here with my 1.1 and just do a second pass of everything. Now that we've got our shading and everything in there. Remember, this is the one that we used before to fill in the in-between space. So I'm just gonna quickly run this over all of those petals again to build up a little bit more of that color. There we go. We're gonna move this out of the way. Oh yay, I'm glad that was helpful, Pat. Yeah, and you know, I feel like flicking in particular with hair, and thank you, Sue, with flowers really helps to add something to like break up the flower. You also could do more of a blended look with flowers and it looks really pretty. But over time, I've come to prefer the look of having everything with the little flicks in it. So personal preference for sure. For our little stamen and such in here, we're going to use a couple of different colors. I've got a darker yellow, a lighter yellow, and an orange. So Y2.2, Y1.1, and OR 1.6. I'm going to bring in the 2.2 first, which is the dark orange, or dark yellow, excuse me. And this I'm going to bring up here and just kind of dot around a little bit with it. And then I'll bring in our lighter yellow, the 1.1. And this I'm going to do for more of towards the top of these pieces. I'm going to kind of dot it in here. And I'll do a little bit of flicking. Not going to do too much here. Oh, you know what I missed, guys? There's this little spot. Just saw it. Does that ever happen to you where you like get like move on and you're like, oh yeah, there's this little spot that's the underside here of this petal. Just gonna shade that. Now I'm gonna take my orange. And for my orange, I'm gonna do a tiny bit along the base, not much. And I'm gonna bring it up, kind of up some of these little pieces here. And I'm just gonna dot the tops of some of them. You could do this whole thing in one color. I kind of like having a variety of yellows and oranges when I'm doing the center portion of a flower. I don't know. Don't ask me why. I feel like it just, again, makes it more interesting, I guess. And that's that. Nothing too crazy. Now we can move on to our leaves, which we want some, I use yellow greens when I'm coloring leaves. And so we want 8.5 and 8.7 and 8.3. So we'll start with our 8.7, which is our darkest color. And for leaves, it depends on how you want your leaf to look when you're done. Remember, we've talked about the highlight needs to be at where, like on hair, like where it curves, right? So I want my center of my leaf to be farther back. I want this portion here and here to look like it's kind of like this. So that means I'm going to bring my dark all the way around the edges. And then I can blend towards the center of each half of the leaf. So we've got our 8.7. I'll bring in my YG 8.5 and I can run it right along the line of my 8.7 on both sides. I'm just gently rubbing this right along the line. I'm not going super far over into the color, but I am making sure I go over the 8.7. And then lastly, we'll get our 8.3, and this will just go over the edges of our 8.5. So now you can see that's created a highlight here and here and gives it this look like it's got two kind of bumps, I guess. I'm going to do this a second time. That's going to help our colors really blend in together. So 8.7. I find large leaves like this so calming because I do a pretty simple coloring technique with them. So it doesn't require me to think too much. So I really like coloring leaves. Now I'll bring in my 8.5 right along the edge of those, building up this color. And then my 8.3. And that's that. You see how that helped it like blend some more? And as the ink works its way into the fibers of the paper, it's going to blend even more as it's drying. Now, normally myself personally, like I said, I would go over this whole flower a second time. Usually, now I didn't do it on my flower that I created for today's card. So let me show you that and we can compare. Oh, sorry, I hit my camera. But first, let me clean up this alcohol marker because it's distracting me. I get very easily distracted. Make sure I don't have anything on my hands before I go touching things. Come here, you flower. Okay, here is the one that I already created. So you can see once it's dry, those colors will lighten up quite a bit. And I think it looks so pretty. I just like this color combo. And like I said, whatever colors make you happy, right? You want to make pink, blue, red, orange flowers, magnolias. I don't think there are orange magnolias, but why not? Why not? We could have orange magnolias. These would look beautiful orange. So, and then, like I said, there's coordinating dies, which is what I used for this. And I might even cut, I'm going to go ahead, we've got time, because now we just got to put things together. I'll cut these and maybe I could put that on the inside of the card or something. And add to it that way. So we'll get this. And which leaf die is it? Let's find out. Is it this one? No. That means it must be this one. And I like when sets have these, like have a leaf or two separate in them, because then you can really build up like if you wanted to do a big bouquet of flowers or have flowers all over the front of a card, right? And you could then just have like little leaf pieces and little flowers to put in there and to fill things out, which makes me happy. So let's get some low-tack tape here and tape our pieces down. I'm going to pull this down so I don't stick my big old noggin in your faces. That looks pretty good. And we'll get another piece. I ordered some more highlighter tape. In the meantime, I'm using my mint tape, which I usually do not use my mint tape for die cutting. It works great. I just don't. I like to save my mint tape for more of like masking and things like that when I'm using. When I'm masking things off, it works really well. Why is this not? Oh, because it's operator error. You gotta move it, Charlene. There we go. Tape this down. So I'll die cut this out real quick. I'm not gonna bring over my machine though, because now I have a bunch of stuff in the way. Bunch of stuff all over my desk. There we go. Pop these out. Now we have that extra little flower to use however we want. Let's set this out of the way and set this out of the way. And grab our notebook page that we created. And we're going to, I think I want to put this kind of actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I think I want to put it at an angle so that this floral here can kind of peek over the edge. Yeah, something like that. I think that looks really cute. So let's do that. I'm going to kind of hold that there so I don't lose it. And you could pop this up if you wanted to with foam tape and get some more dimension. I think I'll probably add some foam tape to the back of my floral. So I'm going to just keep, as a reference, I'm kind of a little bit away from the edge here, and I'm on this second little piece there. I have my glue all the way. And then we'll put a little bit of glue on each of these little nubbies. Man, oop, and we'll drop our whole piece. I did not like these little nubby. Imagine that. I didn't like something that I thought was messy. I did not like these little nubby pieces on my paper when I was young. And I would, this is, you guys can like learn my true true kind of neuroses that I have when it comes to like keeping things neat, I would get scissors and I would cut off the edges of papers because I did not like that it wasn't a straight line. This is me. Hi, my name is Charlene, and I like straight lines. Yeah, that's what you guys get. Now this is just not sitting where I want it to. I want it farther over. Change my mind. Which we get to do, which is fun. I like that we can change our minds when we're crafting. I like that better. So now we'll press it down. Of course, I have glue all over my fingers. Blech. Press this down. I have to clean up the glue that I got all over my desk. What a mush. What a mess. And because this is like kind of a forgiving background, I wasn't worried at all that I dropped it and got glue on it because it's fine. Nobody can even notice. All right, we've got that done. Let's get our scissors. And I'm just gonna trim this off right along the edge. Oh, you know what? I got ahead of myself. There was something I wanted to do. That's okay. We can still do it. It's just I'm gonna have to do it a little bit different now. Trim this edge. What I should have done is figured out where I wanted it. Trim the edges off and then glued it down. That would have helped me find the spot better. The sweet spot. There. I think that looks okay. It's not quite straight on that edge, but that's all right. It's all right. I'll survive. I'm probably the only one who can notice it. Oh, who am I kidding? That's gonna drive me bonkers, you guys. Who am I kidding? That's all right. That's why we have our handy dandy paper trimmer. I'm just going to take a sliver right off the edge there. That looks better to me. I don't know if you guys even see a difference. But I'm going to put a little bit more glue under this little... Oh no, did it finally glue down? Yeah, it did. This little tab, oh no, it didn't. Under this little tabby here. Go on there, glue. There. So it doesn't get ripped off. So what I had planned to do is that yeah, I don't know. You guys, I'm very silly. All right. What I was planned to do was I want to put I have some glitter washi tape. Do not ask me where I got this. I have no idea. It's been in my stash for like a million years. But I was going to do this beforehand, but it's okay. We'll do it after the fact. I want to make this look like the little binding on the composition notebooks. So we'll see if we have better luck with a straight cut this time. I think we did. So I'm just going to do it after the fact, and that'll just, it'll be what it is, right? There. So we'll bring, oh, the only thing is I just glued down. That's all right. We'll perform some card surgery here. Oops. And we'll bring this in. Oh, I gotta lift up that one too. Lift. You don't get to rest yet. Because I forgot to do this. There we go. I think that's all covered. Yep. Oh, and then I'll pull it back out again because I am clumsy. Is that right? I think so. Yeah. Yay. There we go. There. Now we put that along the edge. Now it looks like a fun composition notebook that I would have loved to have in high school. But now I gotta bring my glue back in. Glue back in. What's everybody up to? Watching me flail around. Alright, let's put a little bit of glue now underneath our nub again here. Come on, glue. I'm trying to be very careful because I don't want to put a ton of glue. And just make sure this is right along the edge. And then we can add some glue underneath those ones that we lifted to perform our card surgery. There we go. Look, doesn't that look fun with the little border? You could do that with a piece of cardstock too. You don't have to use washi tape. I just happen to have this washi tape and I was like, ooh, glittery washi tape would look so cool. Oh, I guess I don't need my glackes anymore. My son used to call them glackes. And then we can take this. And I think I'm gonna trim that edge. And I think I am gonna pop these flowers up. But I'm gonna first decide kind of where I want this. I think I'm gonna want it kind of like right there. And then before I pop it up, I'm going to go ahead and trim the edge off because it's easier to trim the edge before it's popped up. I feel like anyway. Nobody freak out, I'm clipping away. You could leave it all on there, but I usually trim the edges off. So let's grab some, what do I want to use? I'm going to use some low loft tape because I got to mail this. So let's grab some tape. Where's my non-stick scissors? There they are. Get some tape here. Now we can put tape on the back to help lift it up. Put some here. I'm not too worried because this is a big piece. It'll mostly kind of stay together and I don't have to worry about like putting a ton of support under there. Who am I kidding? I'll probably put a ton under there. I'm an over adheser. It's okay though. Who else is an over adheser? There's no shame. No judgment zone here. Okay. And I'm gonna cut this in half. I just figure if I spent that much time on a card, I really want to make sure it doesn't get messed up. And have like, get smushed and have wrinkles. I'll put a little bit on our stem. Yay! Sue, Yvette. Who else? I see Jessica. Over adhesers unite. Pat, you're not? Ugh, you're lucky. It takes up some of my brain power because I stress out over it. What's supposed to be kind of, a not stressful experience. Who am I kidding? I think card making wouldn't be quite as fun if it didn't have a little bit of stress involved, because then you get that like dopamine hit of when it all actually works. You're like, oh, that was hard, but look what I have created. Put one here and one here. Okay. We've adhesed away. There's no more spots to put any. So let's take all of our release tape off. Pat, you use glue. Yeah, I use a lot of foam tape. I really love dimension. The other thing I do quite a bit, which I could have done on here, I didn't think about it, which is I will cut out several die cuts and glue them to the back. And then I don't have to worry about this whole thing where I'm like trying to put tiny little pieces of foam tape. It's kind of, I think I usually will try and figure out which one is going to take me less time to do, and that's the route that I will go with. I'm going to grab some tweezers, and then I think I'm going to use my score board here to help me make sure I get this nice and lined up on this edge. So I'll find the spot on the bottom I want it to be and make sure that it is flat up against that edge there. I think that's pretty good. Ooh, that's so pretty. Yay. Remember, leave a comment, and this, if you want some happy mail, could be coming in the mail to your front door. I'm going to add some glue under here. Glue that to the washi tape a little better down there. Well, look at that. And then we have our fun little pieces. You could add more pieces on the front maybe. I don't know if you wanted to. I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm going to put those, or maybe I will. I don't know. That kind of does look pretty. What do we think? Should we put it inside? I think inside. I don't know. What do you guys think? You let me know in the comments. But that's gonna finish, I'm gonna finish here for the live, and I'll see what you guys think about adding the other flower. If not, I'll add it on the inside. But isn't that pretty? So pretty. All right, guys, I'm gonna flip you over here to my face. Hello again. Let's take a drink of coffee. All right, guys, I'm gonna pick somebody from the comments. You ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Rhonda, yay! You are the winner of this card. If you would like this card, Rhonda, please send me an email at contact@dreamcraftcreate.com and let me know, and I will send it off in the mail to you. And I'm seeing lots of inside. Okay. All right. Yep. I'll put it on the inside. Okay, guys. Have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. I will see you next week at 12 o'clock Central, and we'll make another fun card, I'm sure. I hope you guys get some time to craft, right? All right. I'll see you later. Bye.